All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some examples. And as in the last video, there are two different strategies that I'm going to introduce to you on how to find the value of a digit, what a digit is worth. And so I'm going to introduce strategy 1 and strategy 2. I'm going to make you try both. And then I'm going to have you pick your favorite. All right. There definitely was a class favorite today. We'll see how yours feels. Now, with strategy 1, and actually, I'm going to get rid of my face here so you can pay attention. All right, with strategy 1, what I like to think about with value is the word value has a clue in it. And the word value, as we talked about, has the letter V. And the letter V reminds me of a downward arrow. And so that's going to be strategy number 1. Since we're looking for the value of the 3, I'm going to find the 3 in the number, 735,148. And I'm simply going to draw a downward arrow coming straight down from the number 3. And I'm basically going to pull that number straight down. But there is a rule with the place value parking lot that a car just can't park anywhere. It always has to start at the beginning of the parking lot. And the beginning of the parking lot is always over here. And so we can't just park a car anywhere we want. We have to always start in the ones place first. Well, this 3 isn't in the ones place. And so we have to put other cars in before it. So we want to put in a digit in those other place value spots that means nothing. And the only digit that means nothing is 0. So where that 5 is, I'm going to put a 0. Where the 1 is, I'm going to fill in a 0. Where the 4 is, I'm going to fill in a 0. And where the 8 is, I'm going to fill in a 0. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, comma. And I can see right here that that 3 has a value of 30,000. Okay, so that's an example of strategy 1. Strategy 1 is just that downward arrow and pulling it down. Now, let me show you strategy 2 again. Again, we're going to use the word value as a clue. The word value starts with the letter V. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the value of the 5 by doing an upside down V at the number 5. And so you can see that here. Because the upside down V branches off into 2 places. We know, as we talked about in the other video, there's 2 really important things that we need to know to find value. The D stands for digit and PV stands for place value. So if we know those 2 things, we can find the value of that digit. So if we're looking for the value of the 5, the digit is the 5. That's pretty Captain Obvious. If I look at the place value, I can see that the 5 is in the 1,000s place. So I'm actually going to write that as a number. It kind of breaks all of my rules, but for this purpose, I'm going to say that that 5 is parked in the 1,000s place. And so in order to figure out the value of the 5, I know that that 5 is worth 5 groups of 1,000. Well, that's going to be a total of 5,000. So that 5 has a value of 5,000 because it's parked in the thousands place. So you need to start thinking, do you like the pull down arrow strategy, strategy number 1, or do you like strategy number 2? I'm going to show you one more example of each again, and then you're going to get to try both of them out yourself. Here we're looking for the value of the 8, and we're going to use strategy number 1, which is just that pull down strategy. So I'm going to find the 8. I'm going to pull it straight down. We want to keep it straight down. Pull that 8 straight down. But he's not allowed to park there because there's not other cars in the parking lot. So we're going to fill in both of those place value spots with the digit 0. And so we can see very quickly and easily that the value of the 8 is 800. Now, let's go back to strategy number 2. Strategy number 2 is that upside down V, and we're taking into account the digit that we're dealing with and the place value because both are important in finding the value. So if we're looking for the value of the 2, I'm going to find the 2 and do the upside down V. The digit is a 2, easy peasy. And this 2 is also in the thousands place. So I'm going to put 1,000 there. And so to get the answer, I'm going to say, well, what is 2 times 1,000? Or multiplication means of. So what are 2 groups of 1,000? Well, that would be 2,000. And that would be the value of the 2. A 2 in the thousands place is worth 2,000. So what you're going to do next is you are going to do a pair deck activity that I'm going to do one more video to go over the directions and that information will come directly to me. Please know that in the Pear Deck, they do not allow us to put in commas, which drives me crazy because I'm always going to expect commas in your number to help explain your work. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video, and I'll start the next one to go over your next activity about your Pear Deck, where you're going to practice both strategies and pick your favorites.